Launched in 2015, the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross was an attempt by the company to diversify into the premium segment along with the Nexa brand. Now, in the years, over the course of its life, the S-Cross has already gone through a facelift and some other changes, but the biggest change has come in now in the form of a brand new engine, and also the fact that the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross, which has always been a diesel-only model, is now a petrol-only model. So what kind of difference does the new engine make to the overall driving dynamics of the S-Cross, and how is the value for money equation? How has it changed? Because this is something that has been a strong point for the S-Cross. So the answer to these questions is what we'll find out over the next few minutes. As far as the design is concerned, there are no changes that have been made to the S-Cross in its petrol avatar, because it still looks the same as the diesel version looked after the facelift. So it still retains that bold looking chrome laden grille along with the LED DRLs, which have a jewel effect within the headlamps, and the crossover design again remains the same. So yes, the S-Cross continues to stand out among a swarm of compact SUVs today, and it's purely subjective if this kind of design appeals to you. So yes, the S-Cross is still a modern looking vehicle is what I can say. Now talking about the cabin space of the new S-Cross, well, again, like the exterior, there are not many changes that have been done inside the cabin, and it is largely the same as the outgoing diesel variant of the S-Cross. But that said, there are some changes that have been made to the infotainment system. So while the outlay is the same, you still get that 7-inch infotainment screen with Smart Play. The interface is slightly updated, and now you can use Suzuki Connect, and that will give you access to usage of a lot of applications through your smartphones. Of course, this also comes loaded with Nexa Music, so that is an added advantage if you are someone who follows music and especially likes the kind of tracks that Nexa has been bringing over the last few months. But beyond that, again, the cabin stays largely the same. Like I said, you still have the nicely laid out dashboard. Again, the soft touch finish in the center part is something that uplifts the premium quotient of the cabin. The plastic quality too inside is nice and goes in sync with the premium positioning of the S-Cross. So that is something that Maruti Suzuki has been able to execute nicely. And as far as the infotainment system is concerned, like I said earlier, few updates, but it remains easy to use. It's got a nice touch response, visibility is good under direct sunlight, and Android Auto, Apple CarPlay is available. Beyond that, you also have, in terms of keeping your devices charged, a USB and an aux-in point here. There's a 12-volt charging socket in the driver armrest cabin, and yes, you do have the usual climate control. There's also a slight update in the instrument cluster. Now, the design of the instrument cluster remains the same, but this comes with the smart hybrid system of Maruti Suzuki, like we have been seeing in other vehicles. So there's a slight update where you get to see when the energy regeneration is going on and when the power is being sent to the battery for further usage. But beyond that, again, the rest of the cabin is the same, and I wouldn't say that is a bad thing, because the S-Cross, after its facelift, has had a good cabin. And as far as the rear seats are concerned, let's have a look how good or bad they are. Now, once you're inside the back seat of the S-Cross, it is a comfortable place to be, and that's the reason, because space is available in spades in the S-Cross cabin. Now you can see with the driver seat adjusted to my driving preference, and I am 5 feet 8 inches, I have a lot of leg room to spare. Again, the S-Cross is good in terms of headroom, so even taller occupants will not have a problem there. The seat itself is quite nice. The good thing about the seat is that the cushioning is good and the under thigh support is quite nice. So that is something that will keep a lot of people comfortable. Add to it the fact that unlike some of the other cars, the S-Cross rear seat does not come with an integrated headrest. This is a separate headrest, which means you can adjust it to your preference, and that just makes things more comfortable when you're going to be in this seat for a long time. There's also this center armrest with dual cup holders. Of course, it's cushioned, so that's a good thing. And beyond that, while there are no air conditioning vents at the rear, the air conditioning unit itself is quite strong, so you will not really feel the lack of rear AC vents except for the first maybe a few 3 to 4 minutes, because the AC quickly cools the cabin. So as far as overall experience is concerned, I think the cabin of the S-Cross offers well-rounded performance. You get a decent amount of premium quotient available inside the cabin. There's good space all around. There's a decent list of features, and the feel-good factor inside the cabin is also quite nice. Now, the biggest update in the S-Cross Petrol is of course the new petrol engine. So let's start talking about the driving performance. Now, with the diesel engine out of the picture, what you get is a 1.5 litre K-series motor. Now, this is the same engine that is doing the duties in vehicles such as the Ertiga, the Ciaz and some other models. So no major powertrain change herein except the calibration changes for the S-Cross. And as far as gearbox options are concerned, you get a 5-speed manual and a 4-speed torque converter. Now, the one that I'm driving right now is the manual version. And as far as the motor is concerned, the engine is quite relaxed and refined, and especially if you're driving it at sedate or city speeds, it is pretty much a hassle-free and a refined experience that you'll get from the motor. And even if you're looking at that occasional highway stint, the engine with 104 horsepower and close to 140 Newton meters on tap offers you enough performance to easily reach triple-digit speeds and maintain them for a long time. So that's a nice thing for a car of the segment that the S-Cross is in. Now, as far as acceleration is concerned and driving experience for enthusiasts is concerned, well, that is what the S-Cross is not really built for. So if you start pushing it closer to the red line, well, that is where you will start finding signs of complaints from the engine, because the motor starts sounding a bit gruffy once you start getting close to about 5000 RPM. But you also need to keep in mind that the S-Cross isn't a vehicle aimed at driving enthusiasts. It is aimed at people who want a balanced and a refined driving experience. Now, add to it the fact that this vehicle comes with the smart hybrid system. So what that does is it is capable of not just your automatic start-stop system for traffic signals or halt, but it also has a small lithium-ion battery, and that means that every time you're coasting or you're braking, the energy otherwise lost is converted into electrical energy and used again for the vehicle's running. So that aids fuel efficiency, and as a result of that, the S-Cross, if you look at its segment, its rivals, the S-Cross is one of the most fuel efficient vehicles in the segment. So that's another good thing about the S-Cross if you're looking for good or lower running costs as well. The 5-speed manual gearbox offers good performance. The throws are fine, effortless, and again the gearbox itself is paired well to the engine, so no complaints there. However, well, the 4-speed automatic is something that I've not driven on the S-Cross, but I've driven the 4-speed automatic with the same engine in other vehicles, and while it is perfectly suitable for urban requirements, at times when you're out on the highway you can find some limitations, but then again that's a story for some other day when we drive the S-Cross in its automatic variant. And as far as ride and handling is concerned, well, no changes there again, so it rides and handles like the earlier S-Cross used to. Of course, there is a bit of a change in terms of weight because of the engine being changed, but that doesn't really make any big difference to the front end, wherein the petrol engine is now replaced the diesel engine. So yes, I personally find the steering to probably feel a little lighter, but beyond that, there's not much of a change that you can feel even at highway speeds when you're driving the S-Cross. So yes, like the product's positioning, a very balanced and a practical and a hassle-free experience is what the S-Cross offers in its petrol variant, and of course that makes it a pretty strong contender in the segment. So who should buy the new updated S-Cross? Well, if you are someone who's looking out for a vehicle that offers you the experience of pretty much more than a jack of all trades, but you want to ensure that you pay a very competitive price for the product, well, that is precisely what the S-Cross is offering today in the segment. It is one of the most competitively priced products between rupees 8.4 to 12.4 lakh rupees, and for that money you get a good list of features inside the cabin. The cabin itself is spacious and comfortable, and with the petrol engine now the S-Cross is a refined and a good vehicle to drive. And that's the reason why I said more than a jack of all trades. So if you are someone who's not really looking for the fancy stuff, which is like connectivity or something really that features that stands out or is a good show off for your friends and mates, if you want something that is practical, usable, good, value for money, the S-Cross is a strong option in the segment.